and welcome to From Market to Table. I'm Sarah Graham.
And I'm Kathy Willis.
Today we are going to prepare for you some summer fresh recipes, things that are easy to get done in the kitchen and use up some of your fresh fruits and veggies from your garden. So I'm going to get us started today with a watermelon cooler. My daughter gave me this idea. I just let her have free reign in the kitchen the other day and she wanted to make smoothies. And all she did was throw watermelon and ice in the blender. I was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. So I found a recipe that spruces it up a little bit. But honestly, just the watermelon and ice was really, really good and refreshing, especially on a hot summer day. So you just start with 2 to 3 cups of seedless watermelon, cut into chunks. The chunks just have to be, I mean, you can do big chunks because they're going in your blender anyway. This is one to make, that's good to make like 2 big batches of.
Yeah. I bet it'd go really quick, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Especially the end of this week and probably in August here, we're going to have a lot of 90-degree days.
Yes, we are.
And to have something cool and refreshing is wonderful.
Yes. Okay, then I have a quarter of a peeled cucumber cut into chunks. This one was pretty skinny cucumber, so I did more like a half. And then I don't like mint in my drinks, so I'm not going to put mint in, but I am going to use mint as like a pretty little garnish. And then I'm just going to roll my lime out so that the juice comes out easily. And the recipe calls for about a half a tablespoon, so I'm going to use half of the lime.
Yeah.
And then just a little pinch of salt, which when I was growing up and would see people put salt on their watermelon, I was like, ew.
Oh, yeah.
But it's very refreshing in this recipe.
Yeah. And you know, it replaces some of the sodium and the electrolytes that you lose in the summertime.
Yes.
So a little touch of salt in there is healthy
the minerals,
for you.
Right. Do the sea salt, right? And instead of doing like a sports drink that has salt that doesn't have the minerals in it, and then has artificial color and some other not so great ingredients. Actually, a salted piece of watermelon would be a really, really good way to
replace some of those.
Yes. Yeah. All right, then we're just going to blend this up. Okay, now if you don't have a super duper high powered blender like this one, or even if you do but you despise tiny little bits of chunks in your smoothie, what you can do at this point is get a bowl and a fine mesh strainer and just strain this through the strainer into the bowl and just use a spoon to push all that pulp and get all the juice out. Then you can throw away what was in the strainer and then you put the mixture back into the blender with some ice. Now you can add as much or as little ice as you want to this. It's really a refreshing little foamy watermelon drink if you just want to leave it like this. So you can add the ice a little bit at a time if you'd like, or just put it all in at once. But you can almost make it like a slush if you add a lot of ice. But then it does diminish the flavor a little bit when you do that. So, thank you. Alrighty. Alright, doesn't take much with this one.
No. Oh yeah, it looks like a
nice slushy.
Yeah.
Then you can get some really fun cups at home, of course, but
yeah.
Even little wine glasses, that's fun. The kids like when they get to use like an adult glass. So there, looks pretty. Then you could put a little watermelon slice in there, kind of sink down, and then a little sprig of mint. has a little brown spot on it. That's okay. When you're looking for where to get a sprig, go to the very little
Center.
ends.
Yeah.
Go to the center, and that's where you find the nice little ones.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then what you can do to hold this up, if you want, is put a toothpick through this way.
Yep.
And just let the toothpick kind of sit there, and it'll sit up a little bit more for you. So, all right. So there's our watermelon cooler. So,
Nice.
Kathy, what's your first recipe for us?
Well, what I'm going to do is a recipe that you can make easily in the summer, and you can travel with it, and it's a real nice, healthy treat. It's skinny mints. If you like the taste of Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies, I'm sure you'll love the taste of this. There's very few ingredients in this, and it sounds like you're not sure about it once you start hearing all the ingredients, but trust me, it is going to be very good. It starts off with pistachios. Now, some places you can find already shelled pistachios. If not, about half a container of these or so. What you need is half a cup of pistachios for this. So I'm going to put that in my food processor. And then 3/4 of a cup of dates. And these you don't really even have to chop up. And then to this, we're going to add some unsweetened cocoa and 2 tablespoons. I left the paper so I can sort of use it as a level. And then a teaspoon of vanilla. And a teaspoon of peppermint extract. And that's it for ingredients in this.
Super simple.
Is it? Yeah. Now, and once it gets mixed up, this will be the kids' fun part. Could have probably used your super blender. Yeah. All right. So what you want to do is mix it until you see it starting to clump, and you can already see that this is clumping. So I'm going to take my blades out so I don't cut myself when I'm trying to get some out. And then all we're going to do is take a small handful and we're going to roll it into balls. And that's your skinny mint. And this is the part that I'm sure you put it in a bowl and let the kids make their mints. They'll have a great time. And like I said, you can, wrap these up and, take them on a trip, and, if the kids want something to snack on. Mm-hmm. What's more healthy than some natural dates, some nuts, some pistachios, a little bit of flavoring and unsweetened chocolate. And that's all you do for this nice skinny mints.
Yes, I love these. These are such a great idea and so simple, really good for you.
Yeah.
Satisfy your sweet tooth in a healthy way.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Kathy. All right,
I'll just roll some more.
I'll let you keep rolling those up, and
right.
I'm going to move on, and I'm doing an heirloom tomato and summer vegetable salad. At the time of filming, we're not quite at the point where we're really harvesting lots and lots of tomatoes, at least not in my garden. So I did get some tomatoes off the shelf, and these These little guys are my new favorite. They're called Juno Bites. And what I love about these is this little label right here, non-GMO project verified. This means that these are not genetically modified. And I think, to me, without getting into the whole issue, the most important thing that means to me is that they were in no way modified to withstand high amounts of pesticides, because some people think like, oh, genetically modified, like what's the big deal? Watermelons have been modified to take the seeds out, and so have grapes and different things like that. We've modified fruits and vegetables throughout the years and made hybrids of things, and some of that's a little bit different than genetic modification. But what they do now is they genetically modify the fruits and vegetables to withstand high amounts of pesticides so that the pesticide won't kill the plant. So in other words, sometimes when you're buying produce that is genetically modified, you're buying something that had crazy high amounts of pesticides applied to them, which if it kills a bug, it may not kill you, but it's not going to contribute to your wellness either. So just a thought. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is make a very simple dressing for this. And anytime you're looking to make a dressing, it's usually a base of some type of vinegar. We like to use the raw apple cider vinegar because it has those good live enzymes in there. So make sure you shake it up before you use it. The stuff that you see looks kind of powdery that settles to the bottom, that's the good stuff. So shake it up so that you can get that out. So the base of a dressing is usually vinegar and oil. Now for this one, we're not going to use any oil. We are going to use some honey, so I got some raw local Pennsylvania honey for this recipe. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of honey. A little bit of extra honey never hurt anybody.
Yeah. What's really been nice that they have so many new places that are doing their own honey and have such great varieties of honey. And local. Yes, and to support local businesses, and it's not traveling far distances. And all right, then I'm going to do a half a tablespoon of this minced garlic because the recipe calls for 1 small clove, so that's about a half a teaspoon of the minced garlic, and then about 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground pepper. We're just going to whisk this all together. All right. And once you have those delicious heirloom tomatoes from your garden, or you buy them fresh local at the store, you can start adding in your veggies. So this is about 1 cup of sliced tomatoes. So I use these little guys and slice them in half. And then a half of a medium cucumber, and you want to quarter it, seed it, and slice it. I don't mind the seeds, but some people do. Right, yeah. The recipe calls for a yellow squash. There actually wasn't any yellow squash today, so I used a zucchini instead. About a half of a medium squash or a zucchini. About 1/4 of a medium-sized sweet onion. I think I chopped up half of it, so I'm just going to use half of this. Then kernels from 1 ear of corn. And some coarsely chopped up dill or basil. I prefer basil, so I did the basil. All right. And we're just going to stir to combine here. Oh, that looks so wonderful.
Yeah, all the different colors in here. Our eyes eat first.
Yeah. And what's nice, the corn now is so fresh.
Yes.
And you know, when you take it off the cob for this recipe, those kernels are just so sweet.
It's going to burst in your mouth when you bite into them.
And, you know, I mean, there's certainly no cooking in that corn.
Yes.
Just enjoying it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so once you combine it, you're just going to leave it sit at room temperature anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours so that these veggies can really suck up that dressing that we made at the beginning. And then you'll just serve it fresh. And if you need it, if you prepared it more than 2 hours in advance, just transfer it to the fridge so that you don't have these sitting out.
What a great looking salad.
Yeah. All right, so there we go.
Very good.
All right, Kathy, what do you have next for us?
Well, this is the time of year, the end of July, beginning of August is when all the peaches start coming in, the more local peaches. We've been getting peaches from Georgia, you know, like these peaches are still all from down south, but the Chambersburg peaches will be coming in. The first ones that I usually love are the Red Havens. Those are a great, sweet peach that just for eating, for baking, for whatever. So what I wanted to do was make like a peach cobbler, but more in bars. And because that would, I think, travel easier and be able to serve easier if you're taking it out on a get-together.
Bars just seem to be easier to make.
Yeah. It's still not completely easy, but okay, so this is going to start out with about 5 cups of peeled, sliced peaches. And to that, what I want to add is 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, packed, and 3 tablespoons of flour, because you need that flour when the peaches cook to thicken it up. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. And even when I make my peach pies, I always add a little bit of cinnamon to it. I think it just adds such a great taste. And then we'll just sort of gently get this mixed up, and we can set it aside for a minute while we're making our topping. All right. So for the topping, what we're going to do is add to my bowl 1 cup of flour, there we go, 1 cup of flour. We're going to add 1 cup of sugar, we're going to have 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a little bit of salt. If you have salt there.
I do.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you. So a teaspoon of the baking powder. Now, what you can do is, depending on your flour or whatever, you can go ahead and sift all these dry ingredients together, but we're going to get them nicely mixed up here. And just like a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, not a whole lot. And then like a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now if you don't like that much nutmeg, even just a little bit of a sprinkle will give you that taste that you need.
I love nutmeg. Sometimes in the winter,
you can
sprinkle a little bit on my coffee.
Oh, yeah.
It's just such a, I don't know why, it's a comforting flavor. Probably pumpkin pie.
Right. I mean, just even sprinkling it on this, you can just smell that nutmeg. So nice. All right, and I just want to make sure this is all completely mixed up. And then what I'm going to do is take 1 egg. And what we're going to do with, I'm going to slightly beat this egg up. Then we're going to add this to our dry ingredients till it gets a crumbly nature. And then just with the fork, can go ahead and stir until we get to that nice crumbly stage.
Yeah, that crumble topping is what really makes the
absolutely.
cobbler bars.
Yeah. Yep.
I've never done one with egg. I've always done it with butter.
Sure. Yeah. This one, you make the crumble here to go on the topping, and then what you're going to do is drizzle butter over the top.
Gotcha.
So we're not getting away without the butter.
Yeah.
Not to worry.
Don't leave the butter out.
Never. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so find my pan. All right, I'm just using an 8x8. If you have 11 by 17 pan, or I think a 9 by 13 is probably just a little bit big. You certainly could increase the recipe and use more peaches, but this will just basically make the 8 by 8. Get these down here first. Okay, and then to that we're going to add our topping. Now the one that I made earlier today, I certainly used up every speck of my topping. But I think I ended up with a little few more peaches here, so. And I think every time you make it, it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, so this is getting ready, and now what I want to do is just drizzle this with half a cup of melted butter. And I think probably, because this pan is much smaller, a half a cup is probably a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to use the whole half a cup. And it's ready to go in the oven. Now when it comes out of the oven, this is basically what it looks like.
Uh-oh.
This was the dreaded get the first piece out, because that's always the hardest.
Right. No, this just shows you how tempting it is when you pull it out. You want to give it a try.
Oh,
right
yeah.
away.
The first thing everyone said was, oh, should I get the ice cream?
Yeah.
All right.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to cut a few pieces up here and plate them, and we'll get everything together. Is everything else ready? Here, you want to get my mince ready?
All right, so unfortunately, we're in the second half of our summer now.
Yeah.
But we still have the bounty of fresh fruits and vegetables to enjoy for hopefully another 4, 5, 6 weeks
Sure.
before we hit fall. So as you're enjoying the rest of your summer, we hope you'll try out some of these recipes. You have your watermelon cooler, your fresh summer vegetable salad, your skinny mints, nice little healthy sweet treat, and then your peach cobbler bars. So we hope that you'll give all these a try and enjoy them, and until then, we'll see you at the market.
And have a great summer.